Hi guys, I'm Laura.
Hi, I'm Paulina.
And we are from NPLEX Crunch with a new video for you today, all about low yield topics and what you can skip and still pass NPLEX.
So thanks for voting for your favorite topic for our next webinar. The topic is, as you guessed it, low yield topics, but we'll also cover study strategy because that was a popular one.
Yeah, and the webinar for all of this is actually going to air April 24th at 7 p.m.
All right, so here's a sneak peek into what does low yield mean and what are the subjects.
So low yield is really important to understand as a concept. Typically, these are topics that have lots of little details, conditions that are rare and not that common, and typically one-off pieces of information that test writers can't really create a good question about. So they don't come in a list of viruses or a list of genetic problems. It's more a one-off where you're not going to see them as clinically most of the time, and you're probably not going to need to know them for test day.
Right, but keep in mind, low yield doesn't mean no yield. So it doesn't mean you skip it altogether. So in a topic like genetics, there might be an area that's high yield and then an area that's low yield.
Exactly. So the three areas of low yield for NPLEX 1, generally speaking, are anatomy, genetics, and embryology.
Right.
I was going to say, we both want to say it. Each of these areas, though, do have high yield material. So don't make the mistake of skipping them entirely.
Right. So an example would be within genetics, HLA. So this is probably a topic that you've covered both in school and you'll see it again in your review material for NPLEX. And that's because it's important. So it's actually relevant clinically, as we'll explain during our actual course, is the fact that different HLA genetic genotypes will show you different predispositions for different diseases, which again is important when you're actually treating someone.
Exactly.
For example, though, a low yield topic within genetics would be pedigrees. So that's not really that relevant clinically, and it's not really going to be a good question to ask either. Like, even if there's one, on that, it's not going to be pass or fail.
Exactly. That's a really good example of how does a test writer create a question on a pedigree diagram. The odd time you may get one pedigree diagram on NPLEX, but it's very, very rare. They often don't use many images on the actual test in general. So they're not going to waste their time on something like that. And this is actually quite a difficult concept for students to learn. So this is why it's low yield. You spend a lot of time to learn one or two facts that are very low likelihood of actually appearing on the exam. It's not the best way to use your study time.
Right, so keep in mind, like you said, there's no diagrams on the exam, and again, you don't have to diagnose anything. So those are two things people ask us a lot about in terms of what to expect, and that actually helps you strategize as well for your studying.
Good point. So on the webinar day on April 24th, we are going to go over all of the specific details of each of these low yield topics and tell you what you actually can't skip, what you shouldn't skip. And please don't skip, because these questions actually appear on exam day. So we'll go over subject areas within anatomy, genetics, and embryology, because we'll have more time and you'll get to ask your specific questions too.
Right, and then we'll go over how many hours or percentage of your time you should spend on those as well. So you get a really good idea of how to plan.
Absolutely. So if you want to join us, spots are limited, 25 spots. Are only available for the webinar so that we can keep it interactive and actually get everyone a chance to ask their questions if they have any. The day is April 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So email us at info@nplexcrunch.com to hold your spot.
And we'll see you there.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.